Puma, the Denver Broncos, their 3-point plan. What do you got, sir?
So honestly, Jay, the
Yeah.
3-point plan, the first point on this plan is to take Sage and run it around Mile High Stadium because that was an absolute dumpster fire last year. And I'm not even kidding. Like, get some Sage and burn it around the building. It was just so bad. You had fans, doing the countdown of the play clock because nobody could keep time. Russell Wilson looked like he just came crashing back down to earth and looked completely washed. The only bright spot on that team last year was honestly the defense. Everything else was just god awful, especially like when the Walton family just bought the team, and this guy Russell Wilson was just paid by the previous ownership. So definitely interesting. But for me, the other points of this plan is Sean Payton going to be able to resurrect Russell Wilson? And I know, one of our videos, we got a lot of pushback from Broncos fans about
Broncos
saying
fans were not happy with us.
that hey, like, this is going to be a run heavy team. Well, I'm sorry, it's going to be a run heavy team. Like, I know that you have Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton on the roster. Maybe one of these guys is going to be traded by the NFL draft or the trade deadline during the season. Who knows? But the signings of Mike McGlinchey and trying to fix that offensive line, you have Sean Payton that, when he was the head coach of the Saints with Drew Brees, like, Drew Brees led the league in play action, like, and it wasn't even close. The Saints were by far and away the most heavy play action team in the NFL during that stretch. I think that he's going to try to recreate that with, Javonte Williams, assuming he's going to be good to go with the knee surgery and whatever running back they want to plug back there. But this is going to be, in my opinion, a run heavier team than people want to see.
Well, let me expand on that real quick, just because I also have that as a point as well, to fix Russell Wilson and whatever you can do to do that. But let's say he's not fixable, okay? Let's say for whatever reason, is there a contingency plan by Sean Payton besides the run game? Like, do you think Stidham is a contingency? Do you think Sean Payton's going to go out there and draft somebody? Do you think there's a shooter drop, sometime in a draft with the Broncos bringing on a veteran backup? But do you believe that if they can't fix Russell Wilson and you can't hide him with the run game, what's the backup plan there?
I think it's going to be Jarrett Stidham. I think he's going to be the guy. I mean, obviously, if Sean Payton really wanted to have a security blanket, he would have traded for Taysom Hill by now. But I think you could have Jarrett Stidham in there in this offense and potentially plug and play. Now, I'm not taking pot shots at Russell Wilson saying Jarrett Stidham's better, but let's just be completely honest. Like, going into the year right now and looking at what happened last season, the Seattle Seahawks look like friggin' geniuses of unloading him for a king's ransom, and they just plugged and played and moved them right along with Geno Smith. So, like, they look like geniuses here. If Sean Payton now can say, like, I tried everything that I could to try to fix Russell Wilson, and it's not working out, like, he can kind of wash his hands clean of this situation, kind of like what the Giants could have done with Daniel Jones if that whole situation went south. Like, they could have just washed their hands clean, moved on to the next. But history happened, and it is what it is. But I think Stidham would be the guy, the next dude in the wings. And honestly, like, he was touted as the guy that was supposed to be the man in New England after Brady left. And then you had the Cam Newton fiasco. And, he looked, I'm sorry, Jay, like, he looked good for the Raiders. So
he did.
I mean, if you can get played like that, which wasn't worse than what Russell Wilson was doing last year. And I get it. Oh, he looked good the last couple of weeks after they fired the head coach. Historically, every team has a rebound after they fire a head coach. I'm just saying, and I'm not trying to piss off Broncos fans. It's a fact of life. They're going to be a run-heavy team. It's going to be a lot of play action. Like it, lump it, get used to it. It is what it is. And then the last bit is the O-line.
The Broncos country's babies are coming after you, Puma.
You know what? But, like, I'm sorry. Like, I like the team. I went to Denver. Denver's a fun city. I was kind of pissed I didn't have enough time to go to the pro shop or to check out a Rockies game. But I'm sorry. Like, if you're trading that much assets to get Russell Wilson, thinking he's going to be the guy, which, let's put all the laundry out there. Clearly, he was plan B because they hired Nathaniel Hackett thinking he was going to get Aaron Rodgers to Mile High Stadium, which would have been hilarious if he's doing ayahuasca in Denver. That would have been fantastic. But it didn't happen. He was the next guy that they called up, like the late night text, hey, you up type of deal. He was that dude. It didn't work out. I'm sorry. Get ready for more run games. And I'm sorry to piss off all of the Broncos country's fans, but it is what it is. And then the next thing, shocker, is the offensive line. To Russ's defense, you can't really do a whole lot when you lead the league in getting sacked. I think he got sacked 53 times last year. Like they have to fix the offensive line. Mike McGlinchey is not great in pass pro, but go back to the last 5 minutes of my rant, and they're just going to run the football and take the heat off. But the offensive line is going to be the deciding factor of whether or not Russell Wilson is going to be salvageable along with Sean Payton.
Yeah, and then also, we already talked about the Russell Wilson thing and fixing him, so I'm not going to rehash all that. But, for me, the second point here is going to be you got to keep Sutton and Judy in house. Like, you can make them work. Like, I get it. Sutton and Judy haven't lived up to their billing, and you've seen flashes of greatness, but nothing consistent. But I truly believe with Sean Payton and his system and how like Mike Thomas and all these great wide receivers that have come through the New Orleans Saints offense over the years, I truly believe you can see some great special things coming out of Sutton and Judy if they work in Sean Payton's system. So keep those guys. I know they're on the trade block right now, but I think that might be just more. I don't know what that all is about. And truthfully, it might just be one of those things where they're waiting for some like wow draft pick, some wow deal for them to move off of those guys. But whatever, man. And then finally, the last point is you got to trade down the draft to acquire some picks for depth. Like I know right now this year they only have 5 picks in the draft, which is fairly low. You're going to need to acquire more picks. So I would move down, get more picks in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, and build some depth for your roster.